Right guys, recently I did a set of videos on kenjutsu, and one of the things that came up is standing on one leg, using cross step, and as you can see there, reaching and leaning off balance, shoveling yourself forward and holding the sword one-handed. And there was a lot of criticism online. There was general positive reviews for the videos, but there was a lot of criticism online saying in Koryu we don't go cross-legged, in Koryu we don't stand on one foot, in Koryu we don't hold the sword with one hand. And this is just simply not true. That's modern Koryu. Now, I've had an email from a very, very helpful gentleman called Daniel. I can't pronounce his second name, and he's put together some clips for me. But I just want, if anyone out there in the kenjutsu community is watching this, I want you to realize that real samurai swordsmanship was not as you think it was. It's not as static as you think it was. And while I'm of course no means an expert, I'm trying to take it from the static to the realistic and show you. And of course, because we're doing it in history, I'm going to show you now, we've got to look at the historical record. So here are some clips of some Koryu guys doing the things which we have said can't be done. As far as I'm aware, all these clips are official Koryu. Please tell me if they're not in the comments below. But basically, this man here will use a cross step. You'll see him in a minute. He crosses over. Now, I've been told not to do this. It doesn't happen in Koryu, but it does clearly. And however, though, we're going to move on to Kuroda, who's my favourite swordsman of all time, pretty much. And if you watch this, you'll see this is how samurai moved, in my opinion. This is how kata was, and this is how it should be performed. And there, I'm going to slow this down and you can have a look at it. But look at his feet, right, guys? If I was to do this, I would get absolutely ribbed online. But I think he's perfectly right. And I'm going to state outrightly, he is correct. He does everything that he said you shouldn't do in Koryu. I'm going to really slow it down now. Watch. His body's arched over, like that, leaning over. I was told you shouldn't do that. You totally can do that. It's in loads of scrolls. He then pretty much is off balance, running forward, changes cross steps backwards, spins sideways and attacks from that side while one-footed in the air, right? Most people in Koryu wouldn't dream of doing that, but he's considered one of the best in the world, and he's correct. He is correct. And it's in so many scrolls. When you actually dig deep, cross-stepping, stepping on one leg, going out of balance, moving across, it's all there. So I'm just going to focus a little bit on Kuroda here, just so you can slow it down and see. Cross step. Yep, he comes in again. Watch his entire balance. I love that forward stance. He literally is out of balance jumping. That's Tobigayashi moving. Now this is from Let's Ask Shogo's friend. And here is an example of one-handed katana. And basically it being used in Koryu. I assume this gentleman is Koryu, I think. But he's showing how in different... Please tell me in the comments below which style this is. I can't remember. But it's showing the one-handed use of the sword. Something, again, people said wasn't true. You have to be careful, guys. Just because someone's doing it Japanese doesn't make it right. And just because someone's not Japanese doesn't make it wrong. Real research has to go into these things. This is modern people doing Koryu. Even this has to be checked. But we should check it. As you can see, Koryu kata, one-handed. And remember, Musashi himself is fighting one-handed here. Just because he doesn't always have two swords in two hands. Do you know what I mean? This guy here was one-handed. This one is an awkward, weird one, but he does rise on one step. I don't quite see the point of this kata, but it does show the lifting the leg and preparing to cut. And then this was the craziest of them all. Again, whack to one leg. I don't know who these guys are.
Right, guys, so to boil it down, the main point here is I have been starting to bring about what I'm hoping will be more correct Koryu. By that I mean Koryu has got very static, very neutral. Everybody's like, stand straight, 45 degrees, move your legs like this, don't do that, turn the sword this way. And I'm going to say that's not how samurai fought. And of course the backlash to that is people have said, well, you know, you can't stand on one leg and you're cross-stepping, Anthony, you shouldn't cross-step. And obviously you can, you really can. So what we're aiming to do is try and get that dynamic movement back into Koryu without it becoming stage combat. It's got to be real combat. There's real combat, stage combat, and static practice. And what my question to you guys is, how can we get back and let's look at the original way samurai fought? You've got to be careful. If you try and make something dramatic, but you're not actually killing someone, it can go into the level of stage combat. But as long as that stage combat style is proper traditional movements, it's probably better than the static yup, which I think is absolutely redundant. I just think it's redundant. So, right, guys, if you enjoyed that, we're on an open quest. It's not who's right, who's wrong. It's about let's get somewhere. Get yourself a copy of the Book of Bushido. Help me out, help this channel out. That if you're into samurai, that's the book you need. Right, guys, speak later.